Actually, what Louis forgot to tell you all is that I was meant to be playing on a nice golf course today in a golf game, but I decided that this is my first passion, so I'll just rather come to Mossel Bay and be here. So welcome everybody to my training. I call it From Zero to Hero with good reason. I think the weird thing about real estate is that once it's in your blood, it kind of just becomes a part of you. And I always say to everybody that enters the industry, it's one of those careers. You're either going to love it, you're going to hate it. And even if you love it and you hate it, there are days you are going to love it and there are days you are going to hate it. But somehow that hate turns back to love very quickly. And what we also become very good at is we become very good at multitasking and just becoming counselors and advisors and, half a lawyer and a divorce lawyer and, then we've got to become the engineer and we become the structural specialist and then we become the handyman. Then we know about all sorts of painting techniques. Then we know about fixing plumbing. Jeez, and let's not even go into swimming pools. You all should run your own professional swimming pool cleaning companies, because heaven knows how many swimming pools have you had to clean in your lifetime in this business. So I always go, there's not a day. You can never say, oh, the day in the life of a realtor, because every day is just a different day. Depends on what it is that you're going to have to do that day and what's going to get thrown at you and what, bombshell's going to be exploding or maybe not exploding. But, you've always just got to be ready for it, ready for anything. And then, of course, you do get those delightful calls from people who don't actually understand how to read a clock or have any respect that maybe some people do actually sleep at night. And who decide to phone you at 10, 11 or 12 o'clock or sometimes even 2 o'clock in the morning because they've just happened to come across a particular property with your name on and they've decided that that's the most convenient time to give this agent a call. Because heaven forbid you actually needed to get an hour or two's sleep. But they think it's the most perfect time to give you a call. And what do? You become the polite person. You look before you answer the phone, and then you go on with your best salesperson voice, and you're trying to sound cheerful, even though jy's 'n bietjie deur die kak van die slaap, maar ons worry nie daaroor nie, but could be a potential deal, and you start having the conversation. And then you put your phone down and you go back to sleep, or you struggle to go back to sleep. And my best is, guess what? Now they've made an appointment with you to see the property. Well, what are the chances of them pitching for that appointment? 0. Yeah. And who said real estate was easy? It's the reason why we have the biggest dropout in this profession, is because from the outside it looks easy, but from the inside it's actually damn difficult. And it's only the tough that stay and survive. And that's why I call it zero to hero. Because to be able to achieve, to be successful, to make money, and to be looked up by your peers in this industry, that means you've gone on a really tough, long, hard road to get there. Luck does not happen in this business. There is no such thing as luck. It comes from hard work. And I always say, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And in real estate, it's those disciplines that we put into action every single day that we're doing this business that is going to be the determiner of the direction that we see ourselves going in. Success or failure. Now, there is no reason to fail in this business. If you're doing the right steps and you're doing them regularly, you should achieve success. It's almost impossible not to. But before we go into that, I always go with any top achiever. It doesn't matter whether it's in the sports field, whether it's in whatever career you choose to go into. We've got to put in a few simple disciplines. So I'm going to paint you a picture. I want you to visualize that picture in your mind. Now you can choose to close your eyes, or you can choose to just look out on the horizon, but I want you to have a very specific picture in your mind right now. Visualize a rowing boat. You are the sole person in that rowing boat right now. Beautiful big lake in front of you, and on the opposite side of the lake are all the goals that you would like to achieve in your life, whatever they may be. Overseas trip, new car, new house, financial success, money in the bank, being acknowledged as a top producer, being able to give back, whatever those goals were, they're all sitting on the other side of that lake. And you now are in your rowing boat. I've put you on the water, and the goal here is for you to get yourself across that water to the other side in your rowing boat. How are you going to get there?
Put an outboard motor on.
Look, I like that big thinking, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. That outboard motor, that lovely boat that you want with those outboard motors, 300 watts or whatever it is, horsepower, they're one of the goals on the other side. Right now, you're just in a simple wooden rowing boat.
On the crocodile, pray the wind comes up.
Start rowing. Getting to the current.
Are there crocodiles in the big boat? No, I think there is.
Getting to the current, and you go with the current, go with the flow.
Do we?
Okay, we've got a few issues with that. Okay, so from your responses in my audience, it's telling me that a lot of you have not actually set yourself some proper goals. Okay, so let's go back to my story that I asked you to visualize, because it's going to tell me what if you are a good listener. When I said to you, I'm giving you a rowing boat, did I promise you oars? I didn't tell you I was going to give you oars. So I'm not sure how you're rowing. Did I promise you that the boat would have a rudder?
What is a rudder?
A rudder steers the boat.
Oh, okay.
Gives you direction.
Okay.
Okay. So now you're in a rowing boat. You've got no rudder. You've got no oars. There may be crocodiles in the water. You can see your goals on the other side of the bank. How are you going to get there? And no, there is no outboard motor attached to the rowing boat. Let's just clarify that. That you know you can turn a thing or pull it and goes vroom, 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 vroom.
Can I phone someone? Phone a friend.
You're in the middle of the lake. You've got no signal. With crocodiles in. Yo. Not at this point, no.
Can I send smoke signals?
Well, if you're a smoker, yes, you better put 10 at a time.
Can you walk around?
Walk around your own boat and
Walk around the river.
Well, you're in the boat.
you're in a boat. You're in water.
Eat a lot of cabbage so that you can part your way across.
Okay, let's go with your theory because heck, it's there. Let's go with your theory. And then we get that strong gust of wind.
Feel sorry for the
That
people on
starts
the other
pushing you. That starts pushing you away from your goals. Because by that time you've killed all the seagulls with your smell. So they can't even help you. Okay. The point of the exercise is this, and the reason why I make everybody think about it is because you've got to understand every day that you get up in this life, and every day, every morning, you get two choices. You can either carry on with your dreams, or you can get up and go and chase them. That choice is yours. But every single day that you wake up, if you have not set yourself some proper goals, you are like that rowing boat with no rudder and no oars and no chance of achieving the goals that you can see. Because you didn't set proper goals to begin with. Because if you set yourself a proper goal, your rowing boat would have had oars in it already before you even step on it. Plus, you would have made sure that your rowing boat had a rudder to point you in the right direction. So the minute you get in that rowing boat, when you've got that set goal, you know what your goal is, you know what it is you want to achieve, you're going to point your rudder in that direction, and then you are going to start rowing. Life is always going to throw you some curveballs. The wind may pick up, the crocodiles may bump the boat, you may get a little bit lost in your direction, but eventually with the rudder and the oar, you will achieve the goal. You are that rowing boat. Every single day that you get to experience this life, you are that rowing boat. And my question to you is, why would you want to be the rowing boat with no rudder and no oar? Because let me tell you now what's going to happen. Even as this gentleman said, you may be able to produce the gas works because you had a lot of cabbage last night, and that's fantastic. But let me tell you now, without your rudder and without your oars, your boat just goes round and round and round. And you actually go nowhere, and you achieve nothing. So if that's how you feel like your life is, you're the person that's got to take responsibility for it. And you've got to say to yourself, what am I going to do to now set myself some serious goals? Because you need to. So the first discipline you're going to put into practice, because success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. The first one is, discipline number one, is focus on the wildly important. What is that wildly important goal? What is it that creates that burning desire in you every single day to achieve? What gets you out of bed every single morning? Because we can't want to see ourselves in the same place today than what we were yesterday in terms of what we want to achieve. Define where you are now. Where do you want to be? And by when do you see yourself getting there? That's the wildly important goal. What is the most important thing for you to do every single day to achieve that wildly important goal? That wildly important goal gives you the motivation to get out of bed in the morning. It gives you the motivation to get up. It gives you the motivation to go and do what it is that you need to do. It gives you focus. When you're focused, it's amazing at what you can achieve. But when you're not focused, you're like sitting in that rowing boat with no rudder and no oars, and you're going nowhere fast. Ladies and gentlemen, with all due respect to everybody, I had a boyfriend whose father always used to say to me, and boy, let me just tell you now, and I am going to flunk, it used to piss me off. He always used to say to me, you know, my girl, youth is wasted on the young. And I used to look at him and I used to think, and what do you know, you stupid old fart? Yes, ek kan bedonderd wees. What a silly thing to say to me. I'm young, I'm energetic, I'm enthusiastic. Life is just beautiful. Well, as I stand here, a lot older, a lot wiser, and with a lot more wrinkles and crinkles and stuff going south quite rapidly, I realize those actually were very wise words. Because when you're young, a week seems like a long time. And a month seems like forever. And a year, oh my goodness me, very long. But the most amazing thing is that the older you get, a week feels like a day. A month feels like a week. And a year feels like a month. Somehow, time just got a whole lot faster. And it's not because the time clock moves faster, it's because we ourselves get busy. So the question that you've got to say to yourself, if time is marching on, what am I busy doing? Am I busy doing stuff that's fulfilling? Am I busy doing stuff that I like? Am I busy doing stuff that makes me happy? Am I busy doing stuff that keeps me motivated? And more importantly, am I achieving my wildly important goal? Discipline number 2, act on the lead measures. Track the critical activities. If you don't track the critical activities in your business is going nowhere, and understand you are the business. You are your own business. As much as you all have platforms to work from, and amazing platforms, most of you. But if you personally don't go out and make it happen, you cannot expect anybody else to make it happen for you. So you've got to say to yourself, what am I going to do today to track the critical activities that are going to make me successful, that are going to get me closer to that wildly important goal that I want to achieve? Do I understand what those key critical activities are, and am I doing them on a regular basis? Discipline number 3, keep a compelling scoreboard. How boring would it be if we watched a sports match? Now let's be honest. Rugby may not be everybody's game, but somehow it brings a country together. Now can you imagine if the Springboks go out and play the All Blacks or Australia or Argentina and there's no scoreboard? How do you determine who wins and who loses? Would the game be as exciting as what it is with a scoreboard? Okay, well, you're playing the game of life. How exciting does your scoreboard look right now? Not so much? 50-50? 10-10? 5-0? How exciting is your scoreboard looking right now? Life versus yourself. Yo. 0-0? Minus? Hey? Minus. Yo. Okay, I'll tell you why it's minus, or it's 0-0, or it's not looking so attractive, is because you yourself are not tracking your key critical activities. Tell me, how do you determine each day whether you've had a good day or you've had a really cuck day? How do you tell me? I'm waiting for the answer. Okay, but how do you know? How are you going to say I've had a really good day? What would have had to have happened in that day? Achievements? Results? Business? Contacts? People?
about signing an OTP because you need to make money to.
Okay, signing an OTP. Come my field at the back there. The cheap seats. How do you know you've had a good day versus a bad day? Build relations, mandates.
When I decide.
When you decide.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you decide?
My money by performing my money-making activities.
I like
Based
it.
on that, I'll decide.
Set goal for income producing activities and sticking to that plan.
Because we can be busy all day with all the wrong things.
Okay, how many of you reward yourself when you've decided you've had a good day? Okay, well, a glass of wine can go two ways, good or bad. But either way, you need it. Okay, here's what you got to understand. You are the only person that can create your scoreboard, because only you can determine whether you've had a good day or a bad day. Now, for me, it's not always about measuring a direct activity. Yes, I brought in a mandate. Yes, I signed an offer to purchase. Yes, the offer to purchase was accepted. That, for me, was the cherry on top of the cake. What decided the difference between a good day or a bad day, and if I move my scoreboard, is what specific activities did I do today that are going to add to my success in the future? How many contacts did I make today? How many people did I manage to speak to today? How many new conversations did I have? How many people did I add to my database? How many possible future prospects did I get in? That, for me, is a really good day. Because that, for me, is called building my pipeline. And that is the measure of a true success in your scoreboard. So every day, you've got to manage your scoreboard because nobody else can manage it for you. Only you can manage it. So every day, you should be keeping that compelling scoreboard. Discipline number 4, create a cadence of accountability. Now, I'm going to put it out as an exercise. You're going to get to decide whether you want to do it or not. Every single top producer in the world, regardless of what field they are in, has what they call an accountability coach. Now, an accountability coach is not going to be somebody who's going to find excuses for you when you don't achieve. That's not an accountability coach. An accountability coach is somebody who is going to hold you accountable for the goals that you have set yourself. That's a proper accountability coach. So, the cadence of accountability, or creating a cadence of accountability, is about having a backup plan. Choose somebody who is as determined as you are to see you want to achieve your goals. That's a great accountability partner. Then you're going to share your goals with that accountability partner, and they're going to hold you to it. Whether it be a daily 2-minute chat, every third day, once a week, once a month. But here's what happens when you have an accountability partner who takes the responsibility on. You know what? It's so easy to make excuses to one's own self for when we don't achieve or why we don't achieve. But when you are being accountable and held accountable by somebody else for not achieving those goals, it makes it very difficult to come up with the excuses. Because the accountability partner, if they're a good accountability partner, will listen to you and will say to you, okay, but that was one day only. What about the other days in between? So my advice to all of you, it's not about a sign of weakness. It's not about not taking responsibility for your own self. It's about actually wanting and having that desire to achieve more than anything, that you create an accountability partner. Trust me, it is life-changing. And you've all got that choice to make. So set yourself some goals, but choose somebody that's going to be happy for you to achieve that. You don't want somebody who's going to be jealous or not want you to achieve those goals. That's the wrong accountability partner to take on. Don't choose somebody that's going to go, ag liefie, moenie worry nie, môre is reg. Volgende week begin alweer. Jy's baie hard op jouself. No. No. So, not mom, not dad, maybe grandpa over here, my 50 Shades of Grey. Yes, because he's got some way out ideas. I like it. It's refreshing. You choose somebody that will give you 1 minute of sympathy, but then they're going to put you back on track again. Now that's one decision that you can choose to make. En nie beste vriende nie. Nee. Nooit. You say, friend, roer daai gat. Uit is jy. Net so. It's like when my husband phones me and he's telling me about his day, and I go, okay, your 5 minutes is up. Let's move on swiftly with the conversation. Then I just get dead silence. And he goes, you're very cruel. I go, no, I've listened to it for 5 minutes. I think I'm done now. Look, 3 marriages in, I've had a lot of practice. Practice makes perfect. I think I'm at the stage of perfection. Selling real estate for 18 years and going through many divorces with clients, yeah, no, I think I'm that person. But that's how it needs to be. It sounds cruel, but it's not cruel. You're actually being kind. Because as human beings, we can all come up with a million excuses every day why we didn't do what we're doing. But your accountability partner is going to make sure that you keep on track. Because trust me, tomorrow, you can't come with those same excuses. They're not even going to indulge them for 1 minute. It's life-changing. So that is my next piece of advice. In terms of discipline, number 4, create the cadence of accountability. Choose an accountability partner. You will see what a difference it's going to make in your life. And discipline number 5, the last discipline. Every week you should be doing an analysis. Did I meet last week's commitment? Yes or no? If the answer is no, why not? If the answer is yes, pat yourself on the back. You can give yourself 2 glasses of wine as the reward. Did you move your scoreboard in a positive direction? Did we move it from the minus maybe into just 0? Because even that's positive. Because next week we need to move it into the plus. And what are you going to commit to this week? 5 simple disciplines. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every single day. And you know what? The more you practice them, the better you become at them, the easier it is that they get to become and get to do. In every single job in the world, even the best jobs, or what you perceive as to be the best jobs, there's always a part of the job that you're not going to enjoy that much. But it's got to be done. We understand it. And my philosophy is very simple in life. Do more of what you're good at and do less of what you're bad at. You know what? If you hate cooking, you're a really bad cook, your food tastes like cuck, Stop cooking. Please. Don't put yourself through that stress every single day. Why? Nobody's going to eat your food anyhow, least of all yourself. And probably even the poor dog doesn't want to eat it either. That's why we have shops with ready-made meals. It's much simpler. It's probably a whole lot healthier for you. And boy, it cuts your stress levels to zero. In real estate, it's that same philosophy. Do more of what you're good at. If you're good at talking to people, go talk to more people. If you're great at telephone skills, go phone some more people. If you're great at networking, go network with more people. If you're excellent on your social media skills, go do more of social media. But what you need to understand is this business is about connecting people. You need to connect with people more often than not. The outcome is to control your market. More sales, more listings, more income, more often than the rest. Very simple. He who controls the stock controls the market. Now you guys are sitting in the very fortunate position of you have got a booming market. It was very sad last month to meet up with the agents from Joburg and KZ who are really, really struggling. When I tell you there is no business happening, I'm not telling you a word of a lie. Lightstone will attest to the low figures. You guys are sitting in a booming market, and hopefully we're going to get a little bit more of good news this afternoon where they're going to drop, Reserve Bank's going to drop interest rates. That's going to make the market boom even more. So if you're sitting in a booming market and you're wondering why it's not happening, it's because you do not have the listings. You've got to go out and do whatever you need to do to get those listings in. More listings, more control, more of your market, more often than your competitors. That's it. Very plain and simple. Take control of your landlords. Take control of your sellers because you know where they are. So if I have to say to you, where do you think your sellers come from? What are you going to tell me? Where do they come from? Your area?
Gauteng.
Gauteng, your sellers. Word of mouth?
I mean, sellers, wherever they are, because they've got property here, holiday purposes, and they want to sell.
Correct.
Networking? Where else do we think they're going to come from?
Advertising.
Advertising, referrals. Where else? Cold calling.
IDs.
Just being visible.
Visible. Very important. Okay. So if I have to ask you the next question and I say to you, where are your buyers going to come from? What are you going to say to me? Where's all over?
Gauteng, local.
Database.
Database? Website?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth? Referrals? Show houses?
Social media platforms.
Social media platforms? Sellers become buyers, yes. It's kind of the same thing though, isn't it?
Investors.
Investors, especially if you can find the ones that have just won 100 million. The Tata Machans. Before they spend all Tata Machans. It's really the same thing. The difference is is to understand you don't control your buyers, because you have no idea actually where they're going to come from. You don't know if it's going to be an out-of-towner, whether they're going to find you on a social media platform, whether it's going to come via a referral. The difference is you know where your sellers are, because you know where the properties are. They're fixed. So the only thing that you should actually be focusing on in this business is controlling your stock and managing it, because your stock is your stock. It's in your area. You go after that. And we call it focusing on the income generating activities, because without saleable or lettable stock, you have no future income. It's very simple. I always say to agents, you need to understand this concept in your mind. We hate the word unemployment, but it's probably something that most estate agents face more than most, believe it or not. Just because you're working for a company doesn't mean you're employed. You're actually unemployed. You only become employed when you bring in stock. That's the date you become employed. When you sell that stock and you sit with no stock, you must understand you're back in that unemployment line. So you've got to manage that thought process and say to yourself, I've got to understand in my business, every time I bring in another listing, I become more and more employable. More listings, more leads, more often than your competitors. That's what keeps you employed. For the rest, you are unemployed. Buyers will find you. People will find you if you've got the stock. If you don't have the stock, they're not going to find you. And I used this in my roadshow presentation, and I called it the millionaire mindset. Leads, listing, leverage. You need the leads to get the listings. You need the listings to create the leverage in the marketplace. He who controls the stock controls the market. That's how you leverage it. And it's the millionaire mindset. Leads is what the main part of your business should focus on. And we call it the income chain. And we don't call it the income chain for nothing. We call it the income chain because it continuously needs to produce income. But in reality, if we only start doing the two key activities and we stop doing the rest of the activities, it's amazing, the income chain is just going to carry on. But if we stop doing the two key critical activities, the income chain doesn't move. And very often in this business, what we find ourselves doing is we chase everything else, but we forget the two key critical activities that we need to do to create success. Identifying the prospects and prospecting them. Remember what I said to you 5 minutes ago. Find what it is that you love to do and do more of it. So find whatever method it is that you love to do to prospect and do more of it. The more you prospect, the luckier you're going to be, you think you're going to get, but it's not about luck, it's about doing the right activity, the more successful you're going to become. Because that chain cannot happen. The rest of the chain cannot happen unless you focus on the two key critical activities. Because I'm going to take you backward through the chain. And one of the last sessions we're going to work on today is your database, because you need to understand how critically important that database is for you in this business. If I don't close deals, it means I don't make income. If I don't make income, it's because I didn't have stock, I couldn't close deals, and I couldn't go into a negotiation process. If I didn't have stock, it means because I had no listings, so I couldn't do my marketing activities. Because my marketing activities produce my buyers. So if I wasn't doing marketing activities, it means because I didn't do any price and marketing presentations, I didn't close mandates, and I didn't close mandates because I had no listing appointments. If I didn't have listing appointments, it means because I didn't do any prospecting and I didn't identify my prospects. It's very simple. The income chain cannot work backwards. It can only work forwards. So every day, when you set those key disciplines and you put them into being, you must understand that you are keeping your income chain going. And every day that you're not doing those key critical activities and you're not tracking them on your scoreboard, you can't determine whether you've had a successful day or you've had an unsuccessful day. Because just to have closed a deal or get in a mandate or bring in new stock are not the only measures of a successful day in real estate. Far from it. Those key things have happened because of two key critical activities you did. Identifying your prospects and prospecting them. Those are the two key critical activities. Those are the critical activities that your accountability partner should be holding you to. So if I am your accountability partner and you've set me a goal, my first thing for you is going to say to you, what key activities did you do today to add to your network? That would be my question as an accountability partner. How many people did you add to your database? How many prospects did you manage to find? How many of them did you prospect and what was the outcome? How many future appointments do you have, or how many now appointments do you have? That's an accountability partner. Because if the answer to all of that is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, you must understand you haven't had a good day in real estate. Also remember this. Very important lesson that needs to be learned. It doesn't matter what umbrella you're working under. People buy people. You go out there every day. The only person that people are going to buy is the person that's standing in front of them. So you have got to understand, what are you doing to make sure people buy into you? Because people buy people, and we are in a people business. Yes, we all know about AI. We understand how it can make our business look more successful, sound more successful. But let me tell you now, when you are standing in front of clients and you are listening to reasons and excuses and anger and the emotions, AI, I'm sorry, is not going to help you then and there. It's going to be your personality. No robot or no mechanic will ever be able to take its place. Buying homes is an emotional decision. Selling homes is an emotional decision. Investing in homes, believe it or not, yes, it's a financial decision, but with financial commitment comes this fear. Fear of making the wrong financial decision. Every single decision, whether it's a purchasing decision or a selling decision, is underruled by emotions in real estate. No robot can ever take that place. So don't ever think that it's going to be an industry that can just be technologically run. Yes, technology makes it easier to do business, 100%. But technology is never going to be able to do or replace the real estate agent's business. All right, so let's go back to our two things on our income chain. Identifying our prospects and prospecting them. How many of you here did our roadshow a couple of months back? How many of you sent out a message on your phone? And? I bet you got a lot of marriage proposals. Not one.
Not one.
No, man, you're getting the wrong contacts in. I must put you in the local Checkers or Pick and Pay.
A few.
We can even go on Tinder. You got a few. Okay, what's a few?
About 25.
25 leads.
Yeah.
You had a super successful time.
I did.
Wait till they see your bank account. You're going to be inundated in marriage proposals. Shoo! I'm impressed. Okay. So, for those of you that weren't at the roadshow, we started off with the circle of influence. How many of you know exactly how many contacts you've got in your phone without looking at your phone?
3,500.
I like it.
5,000 something.
I love it. A bit more.
Yeah, because I'm sick kindness.
Excellent.
8,700.
And you look like you're a man of not many words.
Yes, that's good.
Ja, maar jy praat met baie mense.
Wow.
Ek's baie bly. How many? How many can beat 8,500? How many?
About 10,000.
10,000, I love it, but we know you're a chatter. Anyone beat 10,000? How many of you, let's be honest, we're not embarrassed here. This is not the name and shame show. Camera's off. How many of you don't know how many people you got in your contacts? Not a clue. That's okay. We're going to get you to know how many people you've got. Okay. Here's why it's so important to know how many contacts you've got in your phone. 1, those contacts need to start earning their keep in your phone space. 2, that is what we call your circle of influence. Now, your circle of influence, believe it or not, are actually people that like you. Okay, let's just take off ex-husbands, ex-boyfriends, ex-lovers, bad relationships, ex-mother-in-laws, few less agents. Okay, so maybe we're down now, we've lost about 100. Not so many. Okay, so 50. Okay, 50 is nothing. You can make up 50 just like that in a day. All right. Those are people that actually like you and liked you enough to want to have a conversation with you and at some point shared their contact details with you. Now, my 50 Shades of Grey here did what I said he must do after my session, and I said, send a short message to every single person in your contacts list on your phone, reminding them that you're in real estate. I mean, seriously, what are you embarrassed about? Why would you not want to be in real estate? It's the best profession in the world right now, and certainly in South Africa. Okay? Remind them of it is what you do, short, sweet, and to the point. Don't go blah, 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 because they would have tuned you out by then. Short, sweet, to the point. Remind them that you're in real estate, and if they know anybody who has any real estate needs, to please refer them to you. How hard is that? Okay, so now my amazing gentleman here in the front, he picked up 25 leads. 25 from doing one simple thing in a circle of influence. How long do you think it's going to take you to pick up 25 leads ordinarily?
A long time.
Okay, so if you can pick it up in half an hour, why do you want to do it in a very long time? Makes no sense. That's where technology is great. You know, when I first went into real estate, and heaven forbid, Louis tried to talk me out of it last night when I said to him, I think I need a little bit of work done on my face. But when I went into real estate, we didn't even have cell phones. We had the good old-fashioned telephone, and then you got advanced because you got a pager. So when that thing started to go bleep, 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 all you needed to do was run to find the nearest telephone to make the phone call. Yes, believe it or not, that is actually how it worked. And then, heaven forbid, you couldn't find a telephone. And that thing kept going off and you'd run around. And then we did get cell phones. Heaven forbid, some of you that are in my age group, you will remember when Nokia brought out their first brick. Hell's bells. Carrying that thing was like an overholder boulder holster. I mean, seriously. You know, and then I think, what was the other one that came out and you flipped it open? Just as that was the yes, that was the fanciest thing ever. Yeah, those were the days. Anyhow, technology has advanced, thank goodness, but you have the touch of technology at your fingertips. If you can reach and get 25 leads in 30 minutes, my question to you is, why are you not letting your circle of influence know what it is that you do? What are you scared of? What are you scared of? It can't be rejection, because in this business we get rejected every day. We should be so used to it. I mean, it should be like water off a duck's back. So what are we scared of? Come, what are we scared of?
Maybe people don't know how to do it, to actually physically send a message out to your whole 10,000 contacts. Maybe technology is still foreign to a lot of our generation people. So do a course, Google.
Okay, here's what I'm going to tell those people. Take 50 rands, go find yourself a Gen Z, give them $50. First of all, they probably never held money because they only deal in cryptocurrency, so holding real money is a whole new adventure for them. Give them $50 and ask them to do it, and in 5 seconds they would have done it. Problem solved. What else are we scared of? Come, you need to answer me. What are you scared of? Why won't you do it?
People are too lazy when they come in, they don't know what to do with it, or they might have to start working.
But then why are you in this? Why are you in this business?
A lot of people in this business sell 2 houses a year and they're quite happy with it.
No, I can't believe that. Why? When you can sell 20?
It's a retirement job.
That's like winning the lottery and saying you've won 10 million rand, but no, sorry, I won't take 9 million. I'll only take 1 million of it.
Self-discipline.
Thank you.
Ek is bang dat dit alles net baie is. I don't want bias, I want sellers.
Hey, but have you ever thought that buyer knows of a seller?
It's true, but yeah, most of them, all the leads are buyers.
And when you've got the stock, it's easy just to go through your buyers.
The leads will be sellers. It would be very,
But you haven't just got buyers in your phone.
yeah, okay.
If she had sellers, that will be solve the problem.
Exactly. And remember, a buyer becomes a future seller.
No, that I know.
First question that the seller is going to ask is, how many buyers have you got? Have you got buyers? And if you can't answer that, you don't have them, then why does the seller want you to market the property?
Because if you've got the property, the buyers are going to come anyway.
Yeah, but if you have them already, then it's so much quicker.
Yeah, well, you can tell them you've got them already, but you need the stock.
Yeah.
Buyers for you guys here at the moment are in abundance. I mean, I listened to one of the top F&B economists, and he was still saying that the mass exodus out of KZN and Gauteng to the Western Cape is very real. So buyers are not your problem. Your stock is your problem.
Prices too high.
Because everybody has this ideal price.
100%, but you must understand, it's their prized possession. It's their biggest pool of money that they're going to make in terms of financial commitment. So they're going to want the max for it. That's never going to change in real estate.
For every house, there's a sales agent. Over 660 sales agents in this area. That makes it a big problem.
You just got to be better than your competitors, though.
I don't believe in these days that there's a buyer's market in fact.
But your market is still very much a buyer's market.
Sure. So in this area, they believe they can get the prices, but as a seller, but not as a buyer. The buyer is going to push down the prices.
Well, because I think we're dealing with a more educated public. You know, they've got access to information now, whereas in the past they didn't. They can draw a report, a CMA or whatever they want. That they can do. Okay, let's go back to my point. My point was about working the contacts in your phone. One gentleman did it, 25 leads. You can decide for yourself whether you want to do it. If 30-minute exercise brings me in 25 leads, I know which activity I'm going to be doing. Then we're going to move on to our next one, which is the existing properties for sale. That's stock that's on the market. It's fair game, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, if it's a sole mandate, be respectful of the agent or agency that holds that sole mandate. I always believe respect in this business goes a long way. Do not be disrespectful to your fellow colleagues and peers in the industry.
Yes.
Because you never know one day when you are going to need them or they are going to need you.
Definitely.
However, what I am going to say, there is no law and there's no rule in this country that says an agent may not phone an owner of a property if there is a for sale board outside. If the owner tells you there is a sole mandate in place, respect it. If you feel you have a buyer or you want to work that property, you phone the agent who holds the sole mandate. That's respect. Respect is earned. Because you would want them to have the same courtesy to do it to you on one of your sole mandate properties. The nice thing with the sole mandate is you're in control. You can either choose to allow other agents to work on the property, or you keep it for yourself, you work it, you sell it. That's your choice entirely. But respect your fellow colleagues in this business. Your next category is your expired category. Properties that have expired, and especially for you guys sitting down here where stock is an issue and well-priced stock is an issue. Private Property did a survey last year where they went back on all the expired listings. 98% of expired listings that came on the market for the second time sold within a period of 14 days. Now we know why listings expire. Overpriced. No motivation. We get it. But you need to understand that motivation can change at any given moment in time. So maybe when it first came on the market, the motivation wasn't there. When it comes on the market again, the motivation is there. It still may be in a higher price, but if they're more motivated to sell, they'll be more open to price counseling. That's why you chase after that category. Your next category, those properties that have sold. Now you may say to me, yeah, but if the property's sold, they've probably found somewhere to go already. Yes, and I perfectly understand that. That's not why you're phoning them. You're phoning them to find out if they know of anybody else in that street or in that complex who also is possibly going to be selling. Because trust me, they would have had a conversation with quite a few neighbors. You know the nosy neighbor? Ah, where are you moving to? What did you sell your house for? Did you get your price? That's why you phone them. Then we start going into our other categories. People that you use and offer services for. Your painter, your plumber, your electrician, your handyman, your company, your compliance company. You give them leads and business all the time. How many of you ask them for business back? Do you ask them for business? And how much business do they give you? Not a lot. You? Did you tell them they've got competition out there? Why do people bring in painters, plumbers, handymen? For fun? No, because more often than not, they're trying to fix up a whole lot of stuff, cover up a whole lot of stuff, because they're wanting to bring an agent in to put the property on the market. They are your friends, but you need leads from them. Start asking them for the business. The next one, I'm glad Lightstone is here. Lightstone have the most awesome thing where you can draw a suburb report. That suburb report gives you statistics for an area. I always say to my newbie agents, when you understand the dynamics of why people buy and sell in a specific suburb, it's already going to put you as a subject leader. Why do people specifically want to stay in an area? That gives you all the motivators. Why do people sell in an area? Is it upscaling, downscaling? Is it for schooling? Is it for religious reasons? Is it for access to highways, businesses? Why do people want to move in or out of a suburb? When you understand that, you know where to go to look for the stock. If you understand in your area that sellers stay on average between 5 to 7 years, you're sitting with a stock shortage right now, that's who I would be targeting. People that have lived in my area between 5 and a 7-year period, that's the stock I would be going after and canvassing. Because the chances are, I'm going to pick up some really hot leads before they've even had a chance to bring in another agent. That's where you need to be positioning yourself. Understand the dynamics of the area, your target market. Who is your target market? What age group is your target market? What income group is your target market? Is it a specific cultural group? Is it a specific religious group? Is it a specific language group? When you understand those dynamics in an area, it makes you a leader. And those dynamics tell you how your market is going to play out. I always say to agents, don't start canvassing in areas where there is zero activity, because the chances are you're going to pick up zero stock. Follow what we call the hotspots. Where the activity is happening, that's where you should be targeting your canvassing. Because the most interesting phenomenon in real estate is if this property comes on the market today and that property comes on the market tomorrow, I can assure you within a week I'll have another property there and another property there in my area that comes on the market. Now, if I'm sitting with 5 properties on the market and I haven't been invited into one of them, it tells me that my canvassing activity is not being successful. We call it the 5 by 5. The minute that listing hit the market today, I should have been canvassing around that listing to pick up the next one to come on the market. And that's what you need to be doing, because that is lead generation. What are you doing to make yourself known? What are you doing in terms of networking, your press releases, your article marketing? If you're going to do an area drop and you tell me your area drops are working for you, fantastic. Personally, I don't think they work, because I know what I do with them when they get shoved in my post box. But if you feel they're working for you, make sure you're tracking that activity. Video blogs, way of the future, whether you like them or not, they're the ones that are getting the hits, and they're the ones that are getting the listings. Don't worry about what you look like in the video blog. As long as you are your own real authentic self, people will buy into you. Remember, people buy people. You have got to put yourself out there as what I call the subject matter expert. If you're putting yourself in as the subject matter expert, people are going to be attracted to you. Understand who is your target audience and what are you targeting them for. You want to target your sellers? Perfect. Find out what channels you're going to find those sellers on. And that's the channel you start doing more of. Whether it be your video blog, whether it be your article marketing, whether it be email marketing, it doesn't matter. But it's time to get noticed. Buyers buy the property and sellers buy the marketing. So you've got to ask yourself, as part of your lead generation, what marketing activities are you doing and how successful are those marketing activities being for you? Remember what I said, stop doing the stuff that doesn't work for you. That's why you need to create that scoreboard. If you're going to tell me, I'm going to put out 1,000 drops, fantastic. But start measuring your numbers. Out of 1,000 drops, how many calls did you get? What was your response to them? And how many leads did you generate from them? If your answer to all of that is 0, why do you want to go put out another 1,500 drops and expect a different result?
Something. Isn't that brand awareness? Couldn't that go to for brand awareness?
Not at all, because people are not even looking at it. Unless there is something that is drawing their attention to it, it's going in the bin before they're even aware of who's actually given it to them.
Costing a lot of money
Yeah, yes, it's true.
and time.
A calendar, a fridge calendar, different story, because that's up on the fridge. That creates brand awareness. But again, I say the same thing. If you're going to put a fridge calendar out, follow up with a phone call and ask the clients if they received it. Don't ask them if they want to sell their house, because the answer is no. But at least ask them, did you receive my calendar? Yes, I did. Well, then you know, for 365 days of the year, you're going to be on their fridge. Fantastic. That creates brand awareness. You know, if they are responding and you're getting a lot of likes to article marketing that you're putting out, or a lot of responses to emails you're sending out, go do more of that. That's how you get noticed. And that's about putting yourself out there, which is what you need to do. It's all about lead generation. Everything in this business is about lead generation. And I'm going to end my first session with this. Don't limit your challenges, but rather challenge your limits. Yes. Every day, do better than yesterday. Why? Because you can.